afternoon. I'm a bit late today, but I've been out helping out, serving. Panda wants cuddles because, I haven't been here all morning to give her cuddles, but that's okay. So, as I was driving home today, a nice extensive trip down the highway, I was thinking about when someone really makes us cranky. Okay, so we have to take responsibility that we're cranky and, begin to look at why. Why am I upset? Why am I cranky? And the thing is, our first recourse is always to look at the outside of the situation. So what's happening in the physical? Okay, now, what are you going to do, Panda? Here, come on. So when we look at the outside of the situation, so we look out of ourselves, like what's happening in the physical, we begin to realise that we're saying things like, well, they've got this, they're doing that, that makes their life easier, how come that doesn't happen for me, etc., etc., etc. So in the essence of it, it's like we're comparing, I'm feeling uncomfortable inside or upset about something, and we've got the finger pointed and it's always easier for them, okay? Or we perceive that it's easier for them. Now, that's okay, because we're human. We're so human in our reactions, but what we want to do is turn it around and teach ourselves to respond. Now, remember, all of this is stuff that we weren't taught as we were growing up, okay? We want to be prepared to have a heart that wants to learn. So as I'm driving along, I'm thinking, well, if we're in that situation and somebody's really ticking us off, first of all, we have to have the self-discipline to say stop, okay? We want to put our hands up. Hi, Sarah. Sorry. Good to see you. We want to put our hands up and say stop, okay, to ourselves. If we need to say stop in the essence that we want the other person to stop invading our space, we're allowed to do that too. We're allowed to say, hey, stop, I need time out, I need to go and process this, okay? And we do. Processing takes time, and if you're a mum, then you've got to slot it into your day-to-day life, okay? So not everyone gets 40 minutes drive up the freeway to think about it. I love driving for that reason. Look, I can drive for hours and hours because it gives me time to think about things a lot more deeply. So anyhow, as I'm driving up, I'm thinking, well, we can be saying, what's this, how's that, why's that? And we do that, and sometimes it can be very legitimate. But if someone's ticking me off, what is the question that I can ask myself every single time this is happening so that I can save myself hours of being cranky or upset or sometimes even hurt? These things can hurt us. And I went, you know what? I have to ask that question. What's happening in me that I feel really uncomfortable with? And I went, well, is that going to apply in every situation where I feel uncomfortable? So if my partner or my kid or husband or mother, father is ticking me off, is that going to work? And it is, because if I can work out what I'm feeling uncomfortable with, then I've got the breathing space to sit down and go, okay, what can I do about the fact that I feel uncomfortable with this? I can put boundaries in place. For me this morning, it was, I can accept that I will never be that kind of person, okay? And sometimes people who aren't particularly kind can tick us off, and we still can sit down and ask the question, what in me is feeling really uncomfortable with this, okay? And I mean, if it only happens once and it goes off water off a duck's back, then of course you're not going to worry. But I'm talking about those times when one person in particular presses our buttons and we find ourselves, at the third time that it's happened, repeating the same emotions, and you sit there and you go, oh, not this again. And so today I went, we have to have a solution. So what happens when you find out what it is that's making you feel really uncomfortable? Well, we're going to examine the situation, and then we're going to say, well, why do I feel uncomfortable in that respect? And often we find it's either something that we need to acknowledge in ourselves that we can change our behaviour and change our heart and be a better person, or it can be we can simply acknowledge that whatever that person's got in their life, and I'm talking not just about physical things, but even who they are as a person, we get to acknowledge that we will never be like that person. Things, don't come that easy for me in that respect. However, I have other things in my life that do come easy for me, okay, which they will never have. And in that space, when we can get into that space, we can find a real peace within ourselves and let go. And we know that we don't ever have to worry, because that would just never be part of our journey. So the essence of it then comes down to a greater degree of self-acceptance of who I am, where I'm going, what I'm doing, what is part of my life and what isn't part of my life. And that is a good, healthy thing to be able to do. Okay, it gives us room to acknowledge and actually refine the path that we're going on. And look, at the end of the day, if you discover that that's something, whatever that person's got in their life that is driving you nuts, if in the end you discover that, oh, well, maybe I need to do some work around that area, well, then it's a good thing too. We've asked the question and we've begun the process of developing an awareness around it for ourselves. I know for me now, it's like, well, no. I'm gaining a greater understanding that there will always be people that come along and drive you nuts. Like, I don't know about you, but in Australia we have this saying, we say bloody Sunday drivers. And the Sunday drivers are the drivers that only get their car out once a week. And I remember this from years ago, when the parents and you'd be driving along normal speed, and next thing you know, you have to slow down 10 or 20 k's under the speed limit. And today I'm driving home, we're on a freeway, you can do 110, people doing 80 and 90, and I just sat there and I went, you can either let this upset you, or you can have a laugh and go, Sunday drivers, okay? And so in the end I just went, you know what, it's not worth it. It just is what it is. And I want to be very clear. Don't go around with all of your life just going, oh, it is what it is. You still got to have passion in your life. Because if you don't have passion in your life, what are you aiming for? We want our lives to be extraordinary. And extraordinary doesn't mean, we're all going to go off and fly to the moon. Heck, I'd be sick, I think. Rocket's taken off and I'll be just going, oh, excuse me, can you just delay? I need to go and be sick. Nah. Extraordinary means that we want to put in that bit extra effort. We want to put in, really, it's that extra effort to make our lives not ordinary day in and day out. And look, there are many people who want a life extraordinary. They don't want same day in, day out, and that is a good thing, okay? I'm sorry I didn't have a list today, but I literally ran in the door and went, okay, I need to do this. So sorry about that, Sarah. So really our question is, when someone's driving me nuts, what is it that I'm feeling uncomfortable with on the inside, and what do I need to do about it for me so that I can feel at peace? And we can do this because we do hard things. And sorry, I jumped in today and I was in such a hurry, I didn't even introduce myself. So, on the way out the door, my name's Linda. I'm a mental health mama, and, lots of people around the world need caring for. So we hit share and care for lots of people here. And thank you for coming and joining us, and everyone on the replay, we do hashtag replay. And bless you. And wherever you are in the world, this side of the planet, have a glorious Sunday. And the other side of the planet, enjoy your sleep tonight. And have a wonderful Sunday as well. Okay, I will be on time tomorrow, and we will go back to looking at the specifics of social anxiety, which is really, really important because it affects so many people all around the world, and we want to be able to be free of it, to be honest. Okay, blessings and dreams, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.